Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm calling it Thriving Thursday.
Thriving Thursday. I
What
like
do
that.
you think?
Yeah,
All
I like that.
Just trying to come up with an alliterative
Right.
name every day.
Sounds good.
Good afternoon. I'm Chad Silber. This is Tim Buckley. This is Lauren Coleman.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on WFNY News 2, Fire Stick Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app. We're also live on Facebook as well. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you.
I think, Tim, a lot of people wondering, is today going to turn out like how yesterday did?
Yeah, it's definitely not. So it's much quieter. No reason to worry about flooding. We had those crazy situations yesterday. But we are going back to storms pretty soon, so we'll tell you when that happens in a few minutes.
All right, let's get right to our top story. In a matter of weeks, hard to believe, students will be heading back to school. As summer break ticks away, many families are now in prep mode.
School districts are also gearing up for the students' arrival. Many Triad districts are looking to fill several positions before the first day.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools had a career fair today, looking to hire in several areas like nutrition, maintenance, and transportation. You'll remember many districts struggled last school year amid COVID outbreaks and staffing shortages.
Guilford County Schools recently upped the ante in its recruitment efforts. They posted this ad on Facebook. It's about a $10,000 sign-on bonus for new teacher hires. The district's recruiting director says they're trying to attract more people to fill teacher and substitute teacher openings. Hiring continues to be an obstacle for school districts across the Triad. Coming up at 5, we'll hear about changes Yadkin County Schools had to make during staffing.
All right, time now for your 4 to 5 roundup. First up today, a Triad mom is upset with the way police handled an active shooter situation near a kid's baseball game over the weekend. You'll remember we showed you a video yesterday of Little League parents and their kids ducking for cover when someone fired shots near the baseball field in Wilson. Police responded and quickly declared the scene safe, but a Davie County mom believes officers should have done more.
The incident itself was horrific and traumatic, and we're processing that with our children and doing the best we can and using all the resources that are available to us. What has been the most difficult and I'll say horrific part of this entire incident is the callous remarks by the police department, the gross underreporting of it, and the invalidation that we have received as a whole.
Wilson police responded to parents' concerns, saying an officer assigned to the park was on scene within 90 seconds of those shots being fired. Detectives are now reviewing security cameras in the area. No one was hurt, but police have not arrested a suspect. Lawmakers in Washington are working on a new approach to gun violence. House members passed a measure last night establishing an alert system for active shooter situations. It would create an active shooter alert network similar to Amber Alerts. The bill now heads to the Senate.
Changes to the National Suicide Lifeline number are coming this week. Soon, the only numbers you will need to remember to speak to someone immediately are 988. The shortened version will work the same way as the 10-digit suicide hotline number. Officials hope it will make access to help easier. The 3-digit number goes live on Saturday. Right now, an Ohio rape case is getting national attention following the overturn of Roe v. Wade. This week, 27-year-old, a man named Gerson Fuentes, was charged with raping a 10-year-old girl. The little girl traveled to Indiana for an abortion because under new law, the state of Ohio would have required her to give birth unless her life was in danger. Detectives say DNA tests are being conducted to confirm the paternity. Fuentes is scheduled to be in court again next week.
Dig into it's Ben Briscoe here. Right now, abortion is legal in North Carolina up until the point of viability, which is normally around 23 weeks. But there's a new court case brewing to limit abortions to 20 weeks instead. We've got one of the key players in the case coming on live at 5:30 to take your questions. Right now, you can start texting your questions for Attorney General Josh Stein to 336-379-5775. He's answering everything from abortion law questions to updates on student loan forgiveness in North Carolina. We'll dig into it at 5:30.
Checking up on the weather today, it's a lot different than 24 hours ago. You might remember we had all those downpours, many of them bringing some flooding problems. High Point, we showed some video of your area last evening where those creeks turned into raging rivers. Of course, today is a different day. The sky is fine. You might notice it's not a bright blue, it's more of a light gray. We have some high clouds. We call them cirrus clouds, but they're thin and wispy. They still let the sun shine in, but they are kind of across the sky this afternoon. Temperatures are a little cooler than we have been. It's still hot and humid. Temperatures are in the mid and upper 80s right now. And with the humidity level, remember we talk about that dew point temperature all the time. 60s kind of humid, 70 is really humid. Today we're in between. It's less oppressive than yesterday. The humidity went down just a tick, and we mentioned no storms today. Well, there's always one that tries to fool us. Take a look here. We're up in Stokes County now. This is Sandy Ridge. There's Delta. This is Highway 104. One little downpour. I can't exactly tell you why that's happening, but I can tell you it is happening. By the way, our drought numbers have improved with recent rainfall going down from where they were just about a week ago. Going forward in your futurecast, not expecting any big action for this evening or tonight, but tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms will come back. So a bit of a storm chance for your Friday, and a pop-up storm here or there can't be ruled out on Saturday or Sunday. But most of the weekend will be dry. If you have any outdoor plans, just check the radar each afternoon and dodge them. We'll get a little hotter next week.
The return of summer temperatures might have you seeking out the nearest body of water, but swim fun comes with swim fears fueled by tragedies that happen year after year. That's why WFMY News 2's Megan Malaris verifies a colorful claim about swimsuits.
Suntan, sweat, and seasonal bug bites. We are wearing the telltale signs of summer on our sleeves. But what color are those sleeves, and could the hue be the clue to stopping preventable swimming tragedies? The CDC reports drowning is the second leading cause of unintentional death among children, which is likely why this picture is garnering clicks, shares, and saves online. It's a chart claiming to prove neon-colored swimsuits are most visible in water. So is it true bright-colored suits are the safest to wear? Our sources are Alive Solutions, an organization of aquatics experts who conducted the test shown on that chart, and Renee Hicks Walker, certified swim instructor and former YMCA aquatics director. They conclude, yes, it is true.
As I think about it, I remember times when there's a lot of splashing, and if a child has on a light colored bathing suit, the splash can camouflage them in the water. So yes, bright colors are your thing.
Alive Solutions tested 14 colors of swimsuits in a swimming pool with a light colored bottom. The top row shows how they appeared in still water, the bottom with agitated water. The bright contrasting colors were most visible, especially neon pink and orange. Overall, the white and light blue swimsuits scored the worst. Dark gray and black were somewhat visible, but Walker suggested avoiding all neutrals.
The reason behind that is if you're in an open water setting, the tan or the black or the white could mimic some leaves or a limb or dirt. And someone may not see that because they think it's something that's part of the landscape.
Researchers ran the same test in 18 inches of lake water and found bright contrasting colors still did best. Neon orange and yellow and green were most visible. White did okay. However, neon pink did not show up as well as it did in the white pool bottom. So yes, it is true, neon-colored swimsuits are the best colors to wear to stay safe in water. If you're looking for the optimal color for both the pool and the lake, think neon orange. Remember, Alive Solutions conducted the lake testing in 18 inches of water. In 24 inches of water, all the colors disappeared. That is why it is crucial to keep swimmers above surface in lakes, oceans, and rivers. Life jackets are lifesavers. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
Very, very interesting. Something I've actually never really thought about when it came to safety. I always think fashion, what's going to look best on me, because the bathing suits that I have right now are black and dark purple.
Okay.
I feel like they're a slimming-like effect.
Right, and if you think about it, I mean, women tend to have swimsuits that cover more of their body, so you would think it would be easier to see the colors no matter what they are, but I mean, for men who wear just shorts, I mean, it really doesn't matter what color it is, especially because usually if you're in the water, the shorts are lower than your upper body.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I guess, I mean, granted, I'm not a parent, so I don't think about that stuff, but I can't imagine lots of parents think about that either.
Absolutely. That's why I'm glad she did this report. I was thinking, I don't usually get too deep into the water anyways, but if I were to go with a little cousin or something or go shopping for them, I'll definitely keep this in mind. Orange.
Right. Or maybe like a
Okay.
bright headband
Yeah.
or a ponytail.
Maybe
or
that's what
something.
I'll do, wear like a bright ponytail holder, because I just love a black swimsuit. So.
It's slimming on me, I know,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Well, coming up, you don't want to miss this. A professional boxer is taking his talents to the High Point community to help put youth on the right path, finding out how he's changing lives one jab at a time. That's next.
Hey there, back with you for a little check of the weather. Again, we're looking at clouds across the area, but hardly any storms for today. It's much different than what we had yesterday. If you remember, there was a little cold front that dropped south across our area. It hasn't really gone all that far. If you look well to our east and well to the south, places like the coastal plain, Columbia, South Carolina, Wilmington, they have a little bit of rain for today. And you can see it too farther south as well in South Georgia and along the Florida Panhandle. That's the same front. And at this point, it's not really moving. So we don't call it a cold front anymore. We call it a stationary front because it's stuck. There's nothing to push it or pull it. Either way, it's just sitting there. So it's south of us right now. It'll drift a little bit back northward for Friday, and I think that little bit of motion closer to us will make it easier for just a couple of pop-up showers and storms. So we're not really seeing that today, but going into tomorrow, there will be that possibility. Notice on the radar here, just a couple popping up here and there. It would likely happen in the afternoon, the typical heating of the day kind of thing, where the morning is dry, but the afternoon you watch for a couple of bubbling up storms. Same idea for Saturday, but take a look here. There's really not many popping up. So if you do have outdoor plans, I think we are mostly dry for Saturday. Just a storm here or there could happen for about 30 minutes or so. This cold front out to the west, that starts to move forward by Sunday and Monday, which will give us a little bit better chance of rain for each of those afternoons. Right now I want to show you the rain chances. So as we go into Friday, there is that chance of a scattered storm in the afternoon. Saturday, a little drier there. Most of us don't get one. Sunday and Monday, a little bit better chance. So it's kind of varies day by day. Overnight tonight, 68 degrees will be your low. We go into tomorrow, 87 degrees. And yes, there will be a couple of those pop-up storms. Again, randomly placed across the area. It's hard to say where exactly they'll be, but I know there will be a couple. After that, we have warm and muggy weather each and every day for the next 7 days. I think some 90s will start to return too, especially as we get into the middle of next week.
We are following breaking news this afternoon. The Trump family says the former president's first wife has died. Ivana Trump was 73 years old. The former president, Donald Trump, posted the news on social media today. The couple first got together in the 1980s, then divorced in 1992. In recent years, she says she was on good terms with her former husband. She wrote a book in 2017 saying they spoke about once a week. We'll be right back. There is an adorable new feature at the Greensboro Science Center, and his name is Ravi. He's the red panda.
Oh, the cub was born on June 20th, but made his first public appearance today. Here's video of him at the animal hospital where GSC guests got the chance to say hello.
Ravi is spending some time in an incubator until he gets big enough. Later, he'll join the other two red pandas at the center. The endangered species are native to China, but you can see them anytime at the Greensboro Science Center.
So cute. There's always something new happening at the center and a reason to come back and visit.
I mean, look at that little guy. And it was funny, you were saying it doesn't really look like a baby red panda.
Doesn't look like a panda, but it's adorable. I love the images when they're like feeding him with the bottle.
Right, so yeah. Have you ever seen the red pandas at the Children's Center or the Science Center?
I have not. How about you?
They're so cute. And they have this enclosure that goes above you, and it's like a netting almost. So at some points, when you're kind of walking through this walkway, the red pandas are right above you, and they're just kind of hanging out.
I totally missed that. They must have been away sleeping or something when I went out there. I definitely want to come back because I didn't get to see the tigers there as well. But I was told if you come near closing feeding time, most of the animals are out. So.
And it's possible that maybe you were there on a colder day because I think sometimes the animals will be in their indoor enclosures if it's a little bit cold outside. But it is definitely one of the hot spots if you're looking for something cool to see. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this little baby now joins the other two.
So peaceful. It makes me, I wonder, can you get them as pets? Probably not.
Yeah, they're endangered, and they're from China, so can't get them as pets. But you can go to the Science Center and see them. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Tim here with you. We're checking up on your Triad weather, and right now it's kind of been a bit of a cloudy sky for the afternoon. Now, if you step outside, it's not dark or anything like that. It's just a little bit of a wispy cloud cover that we're seeing, kind of a milky sky, if you will. We're looking at these weather stem cameras. They're at most of the local colleges and universities. There's one at UNC Greensboro, the stadium at Wake Forest, even up in the mountains in App State, and we have one locally at the Guilford EMS office on West Wendover Avenue. All of those showing that thin cloud cover right now across our Triad sky. And if it weren't for those clouds, we would be a little bit warmer. Right now it's 85 at PTI in Greensboro. We would be at least a little bit warmer than that if it weren't for the cloud cover. Low 80s to the west and upper 80s to the east. But the dew point, that humidity factor, that's come down a little bit. Dew points are right now in the low 60s and mid 60s across our area. That'll start to rise a little bit more over the next couple of days. Looking at radar, hardly a thing. In fact, almost every single place is dry right now. The one exception to that, it's up here in Stokes County near the small town of Sandy Ridge and Delta, right along Highway 704. So not too far from Hanging Rock State Park up to the north and to the west. But all of us are dry. And the good news is that we got new drought numbers for today. Now, over the last 7 to 10 days, we finally have had some decent rainfall. So this is the latest drought report, which lowers us out of drought status. It's just a little bit of a pre-drought condition right now. This is what it looked like last week. So I'll show that to you one more time. This is right now. This was last week. You can see there's a big change. That rainfall has been pretty beneficial, and that doesn't even include the rain that fell yesterday, because those drought reports, they come in and they talk to farmers in the agricultural community to see actually how things are going. So it takes a little bit of time to put the report together. We'll get new numbers next Thursday. Weather pattern right now, we have a little bit of a front sitting over us. We call it a stationary front. For tomorrow, it'll be there and it'll bring us a couple of scattered storms. For Saturday, fewer of those storms. So the rain chance is really not all that high for the upcoming weekend. It is summer. We're going through the month of July. Hurricane season is pretty much sleeping right now. There's nothing for me to update you on. We have dry skies in all of the Caribbean right now. Nothing doing in the Gulf of Mexico either. So right now, we don't have anything to be concerned about. Typically, it's the month of August and then especially September when things kick into high gear. So we'll keep you posted over the next week or a couple of weeks when we start to see those signals develop. For tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be a lot like today, temperature-wise, right around 87 with some humidity. But a scattered storm could be popping up at times in the afternoon. Not like yesterday, but there will be some across the area. Looking ahead into your 7-day forecast, maybe you have some weekend plans. Both days kind of look the same to me. I would say Saturday has a little bit lower storm chance, only about 30%. Sunday, that storm chance is up to 40% and a little higher for Monday. There's also a warming trend, 90s. They're not done with us. They're coming right back. Wednesday and Thursday of next week. We'll be back right after this.
Do you want to do that?
I asked him to. Why? Would you want to?
Mic check, Jalen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was just asking because I wanted to just
Good afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silber here with Lauren Coleman, Tim Buckley. It is Thirsty Thursday. The ground is no longer thirsty.
So Thirsty Thursday.
Right.
Got a nice drink of water.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's almost Friday.
That's true. Friday Junior, some would say.
Friday Eve.
Friday Eve. I like that
I
too.
call it Thursday. But I like it. I like Thursday. It's almost the good stuff.
Right.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, give us a shout in the comments. Let us know that you're here.
All right, let's get to our big story that we are following today. Safety in your neighborhood. The Greensboro Police Department recently released a crime map providing up-to-date information on crimes in your area.
Officers say the map helps solve long-term investigations and can provide additional security. Neighborhood watch group Gate City Coalition says raising awareness to crime is important and must start in areas impacted the most.
The city chose our target areas when we initially got our funding, and at that point, Smith Homes and Martin Luther King were high volume crime areas, and they were with homicides and aggravated assaults.
The group says help from the city has reduced crime numbers by 15% over the last 3 years. Leaders hope to keep the momentum going with more activism events like this week's Carolyn Coleman's Week of Peace.
All week long, organizations have held events like voter registration events and mural paintings.
Friday we have a job fair, and that is located on Martin Luther King at our office at 2031 E Martin Luther King. And so we have over 30 jobs coming, as well as health experts coming as well, and some people with gun safety knowledge. And Saturday is our huge block party. We're going to have a candidate meet and greet. We're going to do a kids zone. We're going to do, food vendors. We have vendors coming out. We are 30, 35 plus vendors coming. We have water houses, bounce houses for our youth, face painting. We have performers, we have a DJ. It's pretty much just the kickoff of bringing awareness to the violence that has been going on in Greensboro.
I've been really impressed over the past couple of days when we first heard about this crime map where you can kind of put in your address and find out some of the crime going on around you. There have been so many different layers of reasons why this has been working or why this is a good thing. You can, get alerted to crimes that are happening right now. You can see the types of crimes happening in your neighborhood. And now this next layer saying that, 15% crime reduction because of some of the neighborhood watch groups and really just everybody playing their part.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that. I lived in an area that had a similar crime mapping tool, and it was very, very useful. You could look at over a couple of months to see, how many houses were robbed or how many cars were stolen or what certain types of crimes were happening there. So say if you were looking to move into a new area, it would definitely be helpful.
And I love that there are lots of groups coming together to try to solve this issue, because police can only do so much. It really takes a community effort to get people to first want crime to be eliminated, but then also play a role in it.
Yeah, it starts from home. It starts from home and coming together as a community, as you said, and assisting the police and people coming forward and actually giving tips and different things like that to what's happening in their neighborhoods.
And by the sounds of it, they're going to have a nice little party to do all that. Hey. All right, turning now to concerns over a summer COVID surge. The CDC is warning of a likely increase in new hospital admissions over the coming month. The uptick in cases has some health leaders considering the return of mask mandates.
Los Angeles County is on the brink of what the CDC considers a high level of infection as the number of COVID hospitalizations keeps climbing.
Over the past few days, we've had to hold patients in the emergency room for 12, 24 hours until we have beds available in our hospitals. And if we continue at this pace in the next week or two, we may have to go back to those days where we were rationing care.
Health officials say the highly contagious BA.5 subvariant is fueling the uptick. People are getting sick even if they are vaccinated or recently had COVID.
It is so infectious. It's on par with the most infectious viruses we as humans have ever seen.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says the variant is able to spread with just a small number of particles.
Before you needed, say, 1,000 particles. Now it's 100 particles.
If Los Angeles remains in the high category for 2 weeks straight, a mandatory indoor mask mandate will be reimposed in the county. Nationwide, the CDC predicts the number of new COVID hospitalizations will likely increase over the next month. In Wichita, Kansas, hospital officials say while admissions are up, most cases are mild.
They're being admitted to our acute care or not into the ICU.
The CDC says older Americans, those 70 and above, are faring the worst. The hospital admissions rate for that group is nearing last summer's peak.
Today we got an update on a child vaccine clinic in Greensboro. The Four Seasons Town Center Clinic says they've administered 192 shots for children younger than 5. Right now they're averaging about 5 vaccinations a day. StarMed says the clinic will operate through the end of the month. They say it could be extended so children can complete their vaccination series. According to the state, nearly 15,000 children under 5 have received their first shot. That's roughly 2% of North Carolina's population for that age group.
Dig into it's Ben Briscoe here. With few people still getting the COVID vaccine, there's actually even fewer getting the vaccine for monkeypox, a virus which showed up in the Triad this week for the first time. Across the U.S., we've got 72,000 available doses, 80 of which came here. We had viewers ask why we had so few doses and how they could get one. We're going to answer those questions and more coming up at 5:45. We'll see you then to dig into it.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, we are waiting to hear whether any charges will be filed against a driver who deputies say caused a deadly crash over the weekend. Troopers say a woman in an SUV rear-ended another vehicle on Sunday in Trinity. A Greensboro firefighter and his family were in that second vehicle. His 6-year-old daughter died after the crash. In all, 7 people went to the hospital, including 3 children. Investigators believe speed was a factor. An 84-year-old man died yesterday after a car collided head-on with his. Highway Patrol says Mac Robinette was driving on Highway 150 in Davidson County when an oncoming car crossed the center line, causing the crash. Robinette died. The other driver, Michael McKnight, was hurt. Troopers say he could face charges. We now have a surveillance picture of the man accused of robbing a Greensboro bank wearing an FBI hat. Police say this man threatened an employee at the Wells Fargo on Randleman Road yesterday, even suggesting he had a gun. Call police if you recognize him. They're offering a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest.
What do you think about this weather? Still kind of the same as summer-like, warm, humid, all of those things. It's kind of into the dog days here. We're in the middle of July. We've had summer weather for a little while, and we're going to keep it around for at least the next 2 months or so. That's just the way that it goes. Upper 80s right now in Burlington. We look at High Point. Notice, hey, there's a little train action going on. That's pretty cool. Is it stopped? Yeah, maybe it is. We do see some cloud cover overhead as well. These are cirrus clouds, some thick upper level cloud cover right now. It's a little bit of a cloudy sky. Temperature though still hot in the upper 80s with some humidity as well. Let's take a look at your hometowns. Mount Airy sitting at 83, Wilkesboro at 82, Martinsville at 83, Burlington leading the way, and we have some heat down south in Troy as well. But a July afternoon with no 90s on the board, that's hard to do sometimes. Humidity dropped a little bit for today. We have dew points in the low 60s, but it's still sticky. It still feels a little bit on the humid side. And pretty much nobody having any showers, but there's been an oddball little shower that popped up earlier in Stokes County that has since gone away. I don't expect anything for tonight or tomorrow morning, but I do think we'll have a couple storms tomorrow afternoon. Here's where they might be popping up anywhere across the area. Whenever you watch Futurecast, by the way, just because it has a storm right here doesn't mean that's exactly where it's going to be. It could just as easily be over here or over there or over here. What I really look at in these models is how many is it spitting out, not exactly where they're pinpointed, because it's usually incorrect, but we look for the coverage. And so for tomorrow, I do think there will be several storms randomly placed across the area. Throughout the rest of the week, we'll have a similar type of weather going into Saturday and Sunday. Just a couple of pop-ups each afternoon, fewer than what we'll have for tomorrow. So overall, most of the weekend is looking dry and hot and sticky. Mid to upper 80s each and every day. We'll get back into those 90s by the middle of next week.
And coming up on the other side of this short break, I'll take you to the historic Ronaldo House and Art Museum, where there's a new art exhibition in town, and this one is a trip back in time. That's coming up on next on your 45.
The Ronaldo House in Winston-Salem is famous for its beautiful gardens and art exhibits. Well, they'll now unveil a new exhibit tomorrow. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey got a sneak peek.
Yeah, Chad, the Ronaldo House officially became an art museum in 1967. Since then, artists from all over have put their pieces on display. It's starting tomorrow. A new exhibit begins.
When you come to see the exhibition, you will be absolutely astounded that these are paintings and not photographs.
The Chrome Dreams exhibit features 41 pieces from 12 artists that are sure to blow your mind.
Some of these artists actually take a photograph and then project it onto a canvas and paint it that way. But the artist who's at the heart of the show is named Richard Estes, and he does everything freehand, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Estes is 90 years old, and one of his newer pieces will join the permanent collection at the Ronaldo House once this exhibit leaves town.
He's still working, and he painted a painting last year in 2021 called Hubcap that is absolutely incredible, and I think people will really love making that connection.
But this exhibit is more of a time capsule than anything else. The pieces are based on photos from the 1960s and 70s.
They are really going to enjoy being transported back in time. For people my age, it reminds us of our youth.
The Chrome Dreams and Infinite Reflections exhibition will be open from tomorrow until the end of the year.
I bet it was cool to see some of that stuff in there.
Oh, absolutely. It was just unbelievable to me how some of these were paintings. Well, they're all paintings. Some of them were print screen, but most of them were freehand. So it's unbelievable, just the detail, the intricacies, everything that went into this. I couldn't imagine doing something like this myself.
And it's so awesome to see the Ronaldo House and all the things they have to offer, and they always have these new exciting exhibits, so that was amazing there.
I've been to the garden before, and it's just incredible. There's a place in Canada called the Bouchard Gardens, and I would say that it's kind of a smaller version of this, and it's just unbelievable how beautiful plants and flowers can be just by blooming.
You're absolutely right, and that was my actual first trip to the Ronaldo House. So I, tried to do a little self-brief tour, and it was just so much to see and so much beauty out there. I really had an appreciation for this historic landmark.
How long can people have the opportunity to see this particular exhibit?
It'll be there until the 31st of December.
Oh,
so,
December,
yeah,
okay.
So till the
Plenty
very
of
end
time.
of the year.
Almost tripped
She
out.
was so startled by that date. She was like, she almost
Yes, I
fell
gotta
out.
make sure I get there before December comes.
Well, good job, Jalen. Thank you. Appreciate
Appreciate you. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Go together like a classic combination when a dark, delicious cookie meets an icy cold sensation.
The 27260 zip code in High Point is one of the poorest areas in North Carolina. That's according to UnitedStatesZipCodes.org. Poverty often creates a breeding ground for crime and violence. Now, a professional boxer is taking his talents to this community to help put youth on a positive path. I went to see how Coach Stephen Matthews changes lives, one jab at a time.
And ain't no walking going on, son. Let's go.
Developing today's youth into tomorrow's leaders.
4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees, come up slowly.
Is a challenge Coach Stephen Matthews is prepared to take on.
In this sport, it's a high level of intangibles such as discipline, focus, critical thinking, composure, emotional intelligence.
The U.S. combat veteran and professional boxer founded Punch for Pound Kids. The program provides youth mentorship through the art of boxing.
You see this? Look at your feet, though. I want you to look at it. That's an angle, 45-degree angle.
Since 2014, he's worked with youth in Greensboro.
Wrong arm, Tristan.
Now he's stepping into a new ring, helping students in the High Point area.
This particular zip code suffers in many areas from education disparity gaps, gun and gang violence, lack of employment and economic chokeholds, and so ideally, we want to begin empowering the community, starting with our most important component, our youth.
Matthews partnered with Greater New Hope Baptist Church in High Point to offer a summer enrichment program for kids. Participants won't just learn how to jab and uppercut. There's an academic component as well.
Point of arrival, they're going to come in, we're going to have an empowerment hour, we're going to do some strength and conditioning, we're going to do some motivating. Then that's going to lead into our mentoring and our STEM. We actually had a great opportunity to partner with the agency that's provided us with STEM curriculum and all the activities and resources.
Like this, look.
Pastor Lavelle McMichael hopes the summer camp will allow his church to continue to be a lighthouse for the community.
Because so many of our youth just don't have anything to do throughout the day. And so opening up our doors and allowing the opportunity for these young people to have a place to come, to get off the streets, and to really have some services that impact their lives, help them with their conflict resolution skills, their coping skills.
Parents and participants agree.
I used to get in fights a lot, and I want to box out the anger for next year.
What makes you so passionate about this?
Well, so I come from a community where you see what imbalance creates. I just wanted to be a part of the solution. As a combat vet, I always say I fought for the country, I'm obligated to fight for the community.
This summer camp at Greater New Hope Baptist Church runs through August 11th with the hopes of expanding into an after-school enrichment program in the fall. To learn more about Punch for Pound Kids and how you can get involved, just look for this story up on our website.
What a great thing to do, especially because right now, in the past few months, even the past couple of years, we have heard about so much youth violence in our area. Specific, usually it's the bigger cities that we see it in, but I mean, something has got to be done, and this is a good step forward.
A great step forward, and Coach Stephen Matthews, he's done so much work in the Greensboro area. He's put on career fairs, he's put on job fairs, not only for youth, but also adults as well. So to see him expand over the last few years and heading into High Point, is excited to see the work that he's doing there. One of the things that the pastor was saying, that area where that church is around, it's a dead end, it's a desert. There's really not much for the kids to do there, and a lot of them, their parents might be at work, so they don't have transportation. He said a lot of the kids involved, they're just able to walk across the street, and they're just so excited to see the influence that it's having on the community there. A lot of seniors do programs there as well, so they're seeing these young people getting involved, and they're even inspired in other ways to get healthy and fit, and it's just so many positive things happening with this program.
And it's incredible what a mentor can do.
Yes.
I mean, it seems simple enough as an adult to be a mentor to somebody, but I mean, just the influence that you can have on one child or several children. I mean, just to have an adult figure in your life. A lot of kids don't have that adult figure.
And that's what he talked about, Coach Matthews. He said he's a fatherless father. And so he said the lack of a male presence in a lot of these youth, it really can impact what path that they go on. So he really hopes that him working with these kids will, just give them something to look up to and let them know what they can be, and that their environment doesn't have to define who they are.
Yeah, such a great story.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with that. All right, Tanya, come join us.
All right, so we got spring, summer, autumn, winter. All the seasons bring something to mind immediately. Now, it could be food or it could be an activity. So what comes to mind for summer?
Oh, the pool.
Grilling out.
Ooh, okay.
Grilling out.
So one food thing, one activity thing. I like it. Okay. As you can imagine, the percentages of good things and bad things goes up and down depending on the seasons, right? For example, more people get food poisoning in the summer than any other time of the year. Why is that? Because we have cookouts, picnics, outside get-togethers where we leave food out.
Bacteria love hot and humid summer weather, which makes it the perfect time of year for harmful bacteria to multiply on food. And when this happens, someone eating the food can get sick.
Stop the sickness. Prep your food and coolers the night before. You'll want to fill up the coolers with ice to drop the temperature and keep all your food refrigerated up until it's time to leave. Then pack that cooler full. Try not to leave any open space and put new ice or frozen ice packs on top. Now, I always put food in the trunk, thinking less sun, less heat. But Consumer Reports says when you drive, keep food in the air-conditioned part of your car.
If you're going to set out food for guests to serve themselves, think about putting cold salads and side dishes inside of a larger bowl filled with ice.
So that is something that I had heard before, but putting the cooler in your car, not in your trunk, is not something that I had done. I always put it in my trunk because I thought, you know, less sun in there and whatever else. So I know a lot of people think that it's the mayo-based foods that you have to watch out for, but experts say it's all food and that you can't keep it out for more than 2 hours and only 1 hour if the temperature is above 90 degrees.
So you definitely want to keep it in the cooler because a lot of times people don't show up on time to like the picnics and stuff. So you don't want it to sit out too long.
Right, and you want to keep that cooler in a shady spot too. I think that's the thing. Some people are like, oh, let me keep it in the car so nothing bothers it. No, don't keep it in the car. Find it in a shady spot to keep it as cool as possible.
And I immediately think to the first games in a football season when it's hot out in some parts of the country. You got a tailgate for 5 hours.
That's right. And I think people think, oh, it's fine, right? And they're like, I've never been like throwing up sick, but maybe you just kind of don't feel good. You're like, something's wrong. And you think, oh, I ate too much, and that's not what it is. It's actually because there's bacteria there and it's not making you feel so good.
Fortunately, if I had a picnic, there's no chance it would be out for longer than an hour because I'll be eating it.
You'd be eating it.
Yes.
Same. And if they're late, I'll still be out there eating it.
Right. And then we want you to take it back in. Ooh, and I don't want you to miss that one tip. They talked about having a cooler and packing it the night before with ice so it gets really, really cold.
Oh.
Because otherwise we think we just put the food in the cooler and it just immediately is cold.
Right.
Yeah, no.
And if you have like a Yeti or one of those really nice coolers that keeps the ice cold or keeps it in form for the next 4 years, I mean, yeah, you can do that at night.
Good luck.
Good
You're going to want some of those cooler ones. Tim Buckley, we're getting warm out there, aren't we?
I'm going to bring those coolers filled with ice, and I'm going to take my feet and put them right in there. Or my hands. You gotta keep yourself cool. It's too hot to go outside. I don't want to go to a cookout when it's this hot outside, I'll be honest with you. So that's okay. Hey, going into tomorrow, 1 or 2 pop-up storms, that's about it. Not nearly as many as what we saw yesterday. You'll have a high temperature pretty similar to what we had today, 87 degrees. And I know everyone's wanting to know about the weekend. We're looking at Saturday and Sunday. Both days should be in the mid-80s with humidity and just an isolated storm. Most days should be dry there for your weekend plans. And then heading into next week, it's still hot, still humid. You're watching the 4 to 5. We'll be back right after this.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California.
Hey, headed in there in just a second to do the dig into it tease.
Hey, Cindy, mic check.
10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1, 10-9-8-7.
In the past week, we have heard of 2 Triad firefighters who've died in horrific car crashes. It's obviously devastating for their families and friends, but it's also hit their departments hard. Over my 15 years in the news business, I've interviewed lots of people in similar departments who've been hit by tragedy. They really are a second family for these heroes. Think about it, they work together, eat together. Oftentimes they sleep in the same building more often than they sleep in their own bed with their spouse. They've also been through a lot together, especially if they're firefighters. The dangers they face sometimes on a daily basis and the things they've seen, it's hard for the rest of us to know what it's actually like. The support they give each other is extraordinary. In small towns or communities, we see people rally around their fire or police departments when tragedy strikes. They raise money for the affected families, hold cookouts, benefit dinners, you name it. We've seen a lot of that this week as neighbors, friends, and families do what they can to help. Whether it's raffling off a gift basket at a local salon or holding a car show just to raise a few bucks. It's really sad when it happens, but it also provides hope that affected families can use that support to cope with a devastating loss. I'll think about that over the coming days as these families of all types deal with the cards they've been dealt, and I suggest you do the same. That's just my 2 cents, and your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Lightning storms and heavy rain left one High Point